Hi, everybody. I'm Steel Wagstaff. Welcome to the January Pressbooks Product Update. So there's a lot of exciting things that we have built and shipped and delivered over the last couple of months, and I'd like to demo some of them and show them to you today. So the first thing that we changed is if you are in a Pressbooks network and you're using the Aldine theme, which pretty much all of you are, you'll notice that there's a sign in button in the top. And before, when people would sign in, it would just take them back to this page as a logged in user. And that wasn't exactly the desired behavior. If you're signing in from this page, you probably expect to see your admin interface. And so we made a slight change that says, if you're on Aldine and you click the sign in button and you proceed to sign in, the exciting part here is we have presented a new user dashboard for people when they first sign in. So we've overhauled and redone the initial experience that people see right after logging into Pressbooks for the first time. So let me give you an overview of what the new user dashboard looks like. It's going to have a little welcome message. It will use the title of your network. And then there's going to be two main blocks. If you have the permission on your network to create books and clone books, you will see these blocks. If you don't have the permission to do one of either, you won't see them. But typically, most users, new users, have the permission to create books and adapt them or clone them. So there's a little block that tells you what creating a book is about, and then gives you a link to the Create a Book page. There's also a block that says Adapt a Book. Use our cloning tool to clone books. So that's the new user dashboard. We think it's hopefully more attractive and clearer. It gives people an idea of what they can do when they first log in with Pressbooks. We also rebuilt the Adapt a Book page. So if you go to the Adapt a Book link, it's the book cloner. And this is going to help you clone a book. So we give a little preface that describes what cloning is. We prompt people for the source URL and the new book URL. But a really cool and interesting new feature we built was we allow people to search the directory directly from this page now. So many of you have seen the Pressbooks Directory before or used it, but if you want to, you can visit outside of the Pressbooks site. And it's a standalone single-page application that presents to you thousands of books published by people using Pressbooks that are freely available to read, to download, to interact with. It has curated collections, it has the search and filter tools, all the powerful features that you've seen from the directory. Well, this can be really helpful to help you find books to clone, but you have to know about the directory and you have to start at the directory. Well, a lot of times people start from inside the interface and like, yeah, I want to adapt a book, I want to clone a book. And so now we're allowing you to search the directory directly from within the interface. So for example, let's say I'm interested in a course on human rights. I've put a search term in quotations, and this is showing me Pressbooks Directory has 23 clonable books. It's only going to return results that have open licenses, which allow you to clone, and it will only show you the first 20. If you want to see more results or use advanced search and filtering, you can come to the directory and find things there. But this is quick and fast. So let's say the book that I'm really interested in, Introduction to Social Work, a look across the profession. If I like that book, if I want to know more about it, first of all, I guess I can open the link in a new tab and read about the book and explore it in greater detail. And I think, oh, okay, this UTA book, I like it. That's what I want to use. I come back to my thing and I click select this book. It will automatically populate those values for me and get me ready to go for cloning. So we're trying to just make it easier and faster for people who want to adapt open license books to find them, to clone them without having to have the huge cognitive load of where do I find a book? What do you mean clone a book? How do I do this? Hopefully that's an improved user experience for folks that are at the beginning. The other thing that I didn't demo here is let's go ahead and pick a book on this network and invite me to use it. So one common way that people begin using Pressbooks is not by creating their own book, but sometimes they're invited to use a colleague's book. So I am in a book. I went to the dashboard and I clicked the Add New button to add a new user. So from my book, let's pretend that I want to add Steel as an author. And I'm going to click Add Existing User. So what's happened is this user has just received an invitation. If they've never used Pressbooks before, I would have used the Add New User. But since I'm already a user on this, now what they'll see is Kathy and your other users, they should see when they log into the dashboard for the first time, not only will they see the welcome and create a book and adapt a book, they'll see all of their pending book invitations here. So once you get an invitation, let's say I accept it. Once I've accepted that invitation, what will happen is that book will now show up in my books list. So if I want to get to a book to edit, that's where I'll find the books. So the book I just joined here is Introduction to Social Work. That's where my books will show up. They'll be under the My Books list. And that makes sense too, because I think I can lead you probably to the next thing. So let's say we want to go to a book and begin to edit it. The other thing that we've done is we've overhauled this book dashboard quite a lot. And what we're trying to do is help authors and creators more quickly get to the things that they do most often in the book dashboard. So the first thing you'll see is the title of the book presented here at the top. This is a link that lets you visit the web book version of the book. So if you click this, you'll see here's what the actual book looks like for people. Let me go back. You'll then see this is the block that's kind of for book administrators. Each of these will appear or not appear depending on the permissions you have in a book. So if you're a book administrator, you'll see all of them. If you're a book editor, you'll only see the ones you have permission to do. If you're a book author, et cetera, et cetera. But the first one is edit book info. This is a really common task where you're entering metadata about your book. So that's available here. It's also available in the dashboard over here. A second very common task is organize your book. Create new chapters, put chapters in different order. That's linked here and also linked over here. Another thing that people often will want to do is change the theme of their book. That would be something you could do from appearance themes, but we're making that more explicit by just saying change the theme. Another thing that you could do is manage users. You saw me just manage users a second ago, but if you click manage users, it will take you to the add the user administration menu for your book where you can add, remove, alter permissions for users. Another thing that we've added, if you have the Cocoa Analytics plugin turned on for your network, each book will automatically keep page view analytics without having to do cookies and other tracking. It's like privacy respecting book analytics. So if you click view analytics, what you'll see is for this particular book, the overview of page views over the given time range. You can interact with this and do all the things that you could do before. We just made that a bit more prominent since many authors want to see that for their book. It's now prominent here on the dashboard. The final thing that we made prominent is if you want to delete this book, the button's there. Again, if you, just to reassure you, deletion isn't like, oops, I accidentally clicked it, it's done. If you click delete book, it'll take you to, I'm sure I want to do it, then delete this, and then it prompts you one more time. So it's not like instant deletion, but in case people do want to delete the book, it's there. On the right-hand side, this block here is going to show you two common creation activities. I want to write a new chapter, or I want to import content into my book. You can get to these from this menu over here, but we just made them a bit more visible since they're very common creation activities. Writing a new chapter just takes me directly to the Add New Chapter menu. I can pick which unit it's in. I can do all the stuff that I do from the chapter editor here. And finally, a lot of users want to know, how can I get help with what I'm doing? Many users know you as the network manager and contact you with their questions and their concerns, but some don't. And so we said, here's some common resources that everybody who's new to using Pressbooks can use that would help them do more with their publishing project. The first thing to highlight here is we've created a new Getting Started with Pressbooks video series. We have 2 videos in it right now, and we'll be adding more. But if you click this link, you'll go to a YouTube playlist. And there's a couple of really nice videos that my colleague Thomas has made about editing your profile, creating and editing a chapter. And we'll be adding more videos to this in the months to come. If you think there's a topic that you really think users would like to see or have, we'd love to know what those are, and we'd be happy to create good, short introductory videos. We know that's a style that a lot of people like to learn things, especially in the YouTube era. The user guide, the good old user guide, it's big, it's sprawling, it covers almost everything you can do with Pressbooks. It's linked there. The community forum, this is a place where especially open source users or developers can go to ask each other questions and support one another. So that's there, particularly for people that don't have a network manager or don't have a support relationship with us. And finally, we provide free training webinars for anybody, and you can register for a webinar and find out what the upcoming webinars are just from this menu here.
I do like the update a lot. The only thing I miss from the old dashboard was the list of chapters that you could immediately click and go to edit them.
Yeah.
As opposed to now you have to go to organize and scroll to wherever you want. But that's kind of nitpicky, but
that was a really useful feature. The problem with us building it into the uniform design is that books really vary in how much content, how many chapters they have. So it's really hard for us to know how much size to allot to that and where to put it. So we ended up removing it from the design. But let me kind of show you what I hope and imagine would be a similar comparable experience. So if you come back to this menu, and Wade was saying in the old dashboard, it had a big list of all your chapters and you can edit them. If you go to Organize Book, that's essentially what you'll see. It's one click away, but we also did a redesign of the Organize Book page. So I want to shout out Lauren, especially the folks at the University of Washington. A couple of years ago, we agreed, we did an accessibility audit, and we all acknowledged that the organized page was not fully accessible to keyboard navigation, in particular because of how it was using tables. So this was due for a refactor and redesign, and we've completed it. So now this whole page is fully navigable by keyboard. So if you watch, I'm scrolling through all the options and links via keyboard, and each one of them can be selected and turned on or off just with my keyboard. The other thing that we made more clear is this has been the case, but people didn't always know it. Each of these section headings are toggle buttons, which will let you toggle everything in the column. So I can click Show and Exports, and you notice that everything just got turned on for Show and Exports. And you can now see that the button is pressed. If I click it again, it toggles it off, and they're no longer being shown in exports. So that's been made more clear visually. The tables have been reformatted and reorganized, and you can see now that we're presenting a more accessible and hopefully a cleaner and better redesigned organized page. So thank you, Lauren, for your patience. And first of all, for reporting the accessibility issue and being patient as we worked on that refactor and redesign. So that's what's happened for the organized page. Hopefully users of assistive technology and people with other kinds of disabilities will appreciate that and be better able to use Pressbooks to write and publish the things they want to write and publish. The next thing that I want to jump into, I guess, would be a set of things that this is strictly for network managers or people that run Pressbooks networks, but we're trying to make it easier for you to administer your network and control how you present the landing page of Pressbooks to your users. So let me share my screen and just remind you, if you are a network manager, you have this customize menu for your network. If you haven't been here lately, just a quick reminder, you can find it under your home site dashboard, appearance, customize. One thing that we added was you have a home page or a front page for your network. You'll notice that we've added a new ability to showcase books here. If you want to control the books that are being showcased on your home page, you can click on the front page catalog option, and you can see, yes, I want to show the catalog. What do I want the text to be? And which books in my catalog do I want to preview? There's up to 4 spots available there. So you can choose to showcase books on your homepage or front page, up to 4 books from your catalog. If they're being chosen for showcase, we'll show you the cover image and the title here. And then there's always the link to the complete catalog. The other big change we made, though, is that some people said, you know what, I don't actually want this current page to be my front page. I want my about page to be my front page, or I want my catalog to just be my front page. And so there's new option in Pressbooks that says, which page do you want to set as your network home page or front page? So in this case, I'm going to say, let's make my catalog my front page. And then I'm going to click publish. So now if you were to visit my home page for my network, instead of seeing that old home page, this is now the front page of my network. It's the catalog page for my network. You can choose any of the available pages that have been published to your root site and set it as your home page now. That's new. So that's something that we added for network managers. Again, you can come to front page settings and you can set it back to home, or you can set it to, probably wouldn't want to do that one, terms of service, or any other page that you like. Let me slow down and click that again. And I'll put it back to my network root homepage. You also probably all know that we've released a new and improved network catalog feature. So let me take you to the catalog. Actually, I should probably leave this screen and actually go to the real catalog. So I'm visiting my catalog. The catalog, as you can see, has a little hero image. You can customize and change the hero image. We explained that in the previous one. It has some introductory text, and then it presents a directory-like filter and search interface. A few changes and improvements that we made here. Previously, we had a bug where we were displaying values from every book on your network, not just books in the catalog. And that was leading to some bad results because let's say you have a book that's not finished or that hasn't been entered to your catalog. If someone tried to filter by the publisher or the institution, they would get no results because the catalog didn't have that book in it. So now these filters only display values that correspond to things in the catalog. So you should never apply one of these filters and get 0 results anymore. It will always come back with at least 1 result. Another change we made was in how we're rendering the content in here. So let me find an example. I'm pretty sure we have an example here. Okay, here's an example of italics. Here's an example of a link. If you have italics or links or other kind of HTML content in your long or short description for your book, they will be properly displayed and rendered on the catalog homepage. So that was another improvement or bug fix that we made. Okay, we made a couple of bug fixes. I don't think I'll demo them, but just know if you're using the results for LMS product and had any issues with grade reporting, it was a very rare edge case, but we shipped and released a feature, a bug fix for some of the inconsistent behavior for the grade reporting and results for LMS at the end of December. And we believe that it's working consistently for everyone. If you notice any problems, please let us know like you always would. And then the last thing, this is a kind of minor one, but it has a visual component, so I'll show it to you. If I were to click the chapter editor, you'll see we have a visual editor here. And there's a bunch of different icons. The icon for footnote is now more clearly representative of a footnote. So we changed the visual icon for insert footnote. That looks like a footnote, we hope, for most people. And when you click it, it does the footnote thing. So the footnote icon was confusing for some people before, so we've updated the footnote icon. And that was the big stuff that I had to show you here. Kathy, you had mentioned wanting to get a heads up for what's coming next. So let me tell you a few things that are coming soon. The first thing that's coming soon is we are going to be adding a feature we call Shapeshifter to all of the themes of Pressbooks. Right now, it's only available in McLuhan and Malala. And let me show you what it is and what it does and why you might care about this. If you come into your Pressbook book and you select a theme, you'll see, you'll see that I need to be patient. That's what you'll see. Okay. You'll see that you have all these available themes, and each theme has a default style. The style of the theme is going to include things like the typeface, the color, the way that it displays block quotes, etc. Every theme is different. In each theme, so let's say I'm in McLuhan and go to theme options, you'll see a bunch of different theme options. You'll see web options, PDF, and ebook options. In McLuhan and Malala, there is this special option that lets you customize the header font and the body font separately for the web book, PDF, and ebook. So let's say you really, really like this theme, but you just don't like the typeface it uses for headings. You can come in and change the heading in your web book or your PDF or your ebook. We call that Shapeshifter, so you can keep everything else about the theme, but change the typefaces. That has been available in McLuhan and Malala, and we're going to be shipping that feature for every other theme in Pressbooks, so that if you really liked Baker, but you didn't like its typefaces, you can change those and add those. So that's coming soon. Another thing that's going to be coming is we're going to be redoing this admin dashbar, Kathy and others, to make options more clear. And in particular, we're going to be redoing the network admin dashboard on the left-hand side and the network dashboard here. You saw that we redid the user dashboard and the book dashboard. So we're going to have a new manager dashboard that looks and functions a lot like those. So it will look something like this. I don't know how to turn off comments, but basically the new admin dashboard will have a very clear thing that says administer your network. The My Books will be a bit clearer for your books. This would be what a book dashboard looks like. And there'll be permanent buttons in the top that let you create a book, clone a book, or if you're a network manager, add users. These are really common actions that people want to take. And so we're going to make them present and visible at all times in the top dashboard. For network managers, we're going to build a welcome page for you that shows you the things that you want and need most. We've talked with a lot of network managers about the things they do most often. And so here's our first cut at helping you do those things. There's a welcome page. It's going to give you how many books and users you have and let you explore more stats about your network, which is an existing tool that network managers have. There's going to be some options for updating what we call your root site or your landing page. So that customized appearance page create and edit pages, and then viewing page view analytics will appear here. In the right-hand block, we'll have something like how to administer your network by adjusting your settings and viewing your book and user list. And then we'll have custom support resources that are specific for network managers who have a different set of functions and tasks than regular end users. So that's the big thing we're working on next. Many of you are network managers. This is the first time you're seeing. So I guess I can pause and say, thoughts, impressions. If you haven't already been talking to us about this, engaging with us, I'd love to hear about initial impressions or things that you feel like you would want to see or wouldn't want to see in that redesign.
Let me ask a question. So we had the comment earlier about wanting a heads up before stuff like this goes live, certainly for faculty users. You guys are network administrators are more of the power users, but what kind of heads up, what kind of information would you find most helpful and on what time frame as these kinds of improvements are expected?
This is Kathy again. I imagine there were conversations happening like in a forum or something, because we usually do know. I feel like there's someplace I could have been looking. Is there someplace, because we'll have other times when you need to go a month or two without these updates. Where should I be watching for these incidental conversations?
Yeah, great question. This is probably something that's in flux and changing a little bit at Pressbooks as our communication and marketing strategy improves. But I can speak for myself as the product owner. The places that I always publish updates, this meeting is the biggest one where I'm presenting and sharing work that's finished and work that's coming. So the monthly product update. The other thing that I will do is in the community forum, I will write that note for EDU managers. And I'll also typically at the end of each month, write an update for what we delivered in that forum. I didn't do it in December because I was out for the holidays. And that's probably what you observed and noticed, that I didn't do it in December. So sorry about that. And it was a perfect storm of timing because it was your finals week and it was our holidays and I didn't do it in December. So sorry. I also don't remember if I did it in November because of Thanksgiving. So that was maybe 2 months in a row that I didn't do it. There is a Pressbooks newsletter that many people are subscribed to that tries to pull out some of the important highlights. And they will usually read my monthly product updates and grab things of interest. The other place that we do things is as open source software developers. Every change that we make is recorded in GitHub, and GitHub will have stable tagged releases of all of our stuff. Most humans like you will not go to GitHub and read release notes, but some aliens, developers or whatever, enjoy those and appreciate those. And we try to do a good job of keeping track of that. But I would say the human readable summaries right now are going to be these meetings and the forum posts. But that's subject to change. And I think we should improve it because I don't think that's something that we're particularly great at. And so Julie, if you're listening, that's something that we should talk about as our team.
Yeah, we're actually doing a lot of work right now within the team looking at that, just kind of the overall customer journey and the experience of supporting success of you guys as key stakeholders in how Pressbooks is valuable for faculty and students and institutions. And so with that, it's an opportunity for us to actually get better at communicating. So with regularity and predictability, here's where we are going to communicate, but also make sure you understand that and make sure that reliable cadence is there. It's actually been really exciting for Pressbooks to get to a point where they can be kind of making these small improvements all the time. We're all used to that with sites like Google or, even Canvas and, or, some of the LMSs that are getting us acquainted or getting us used to this idea that there's small incremental improvements that are happening all the time instead of one massive knockdown, drag out, update once a year that kills everybody. And so in the end, it's a better way to use technology, but with that, we need to get better at building that cadence of communication so that it's transparent and visible to you, and we're getting feedback as we go about what are we doing right and where do we need to adjust things.
You probably also have all noticed that many of the things that I was presenting have a user experience and a user interface change. This has been a function of us adding Michelle to our team, who many of you met. She's a professional UX designer, and that was a skill set that we needed, and hopefully you're seeing some of the fruits of that, but it also means that your user experience and user interface is changing more than it used to in the past. So hopefully it's better, but also it's changed. So bear with us. Thanks. The other things that were coming soon that might be of interest to you. One is we've heard from many of you that you want more visibility into the lives that your books have outside of your network. So one thing we're giving you are the page view analytics. The second thing that's in our power to do is, as of the end of the year, we are now keeping track of every time your book is cloned somewhere else. So the clone routine that Pressbooks does will tell the source book, hey, your book was cloned and here's where it was cloned to. And we're going to be providing tools for both network managers and authors to see more about the number of times the book has been cloned and where it's been cloned to. So that's something we're developing. Many of you have contributed your ideas and thoughts to that, so thank you for that. Another thing that's coming is Google Analytics. As many of you know, Universal Analytics, the old Google Analytics project, is going to be retired this summer, and they're replacing it with GA4, the newer version of Google Analytics that does less cookie-based tracking. Pressbooks has an integration that lets you add Google Analytics to your site as a whole or your network as a whole. Currently, we support Universal Analytics, and we're going to be adding additional support for Google Analytics 4 in the very near-term future. So that's coming in the next release, as to the best of my knowledge. And then we'll continue supporting both until this summer when they retire UA, and then it will just be Google Analytics 4 going forward. So those are things coming. And then if you're a hardcore developer or nerd, I should mention this, the version of PHP that your servers run matter. We require PHP 8 right now, and we're going to be adding compatibility and starting to require PHP 8.1 soon. So the server performance will be a bit faster. There's not a lot of changes that happen in the move from 8 to 8.1, but if that's important to you as an open source user or developer, that's something I was going to mention. So that's what's coming for us. That's it for me. That concludes my portion of the presentation and the talk part. I'm going to pause the recording now, and we're going to go into the community roundtable where each of you can share updates and news and items of interest. So thanks for your patience. I guess the last thing to note is this is the time of year the United States Department of Education just announced their big annual round of grant funding. So I can't remember the exact amount that's been released this year, but the United States Congress has said, we have money available for people to develop open textbooks. I know that many of you have participated in writing grants or coming up with grant proposals in the past. Pressbooks has participated in a couple of those grant proposal writing in the past. If you have interest in partnering with us or writing a proposal in which we partner or help develop things that you need or want to succeed for that DOE grant, we're open, we're interested, we want to listen, we want to participate, want to be a partner. Is there anything that you would add, Julie? I think Julie probably knows a bit more about these past cycles than I have.
No, I think you said everything I want. We'd love to partner if there are ideas, if you want a sounding board or, who else might be interested in this idea, we'd love to have the conversation.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you all coming out. That was the January update. We'll see you again next month. And until then, thanks for all you do for publishing and your institutions.